Nelson Mandela in jail. He looked not only Mandela, but lots of freedom fighters have questions about the unsung hero of independence for India. And today, the short documentary will reveal all secrets of India's independence, which was hidden till date. India was known as a gold mine to the world from centuries before Christianity. Hence, Afghans, Mughals, Dutch, French, and British came to loot India. The British were the last to arrive as the East India Company and became one of the largest empires of India. In 1857, revolution was suppressed and India was really going through the worst time in the entire history, where thousands were killed cruelly and people died because of hunger, where slavery and torture was at its extreme. It was a time when kings, politicians, freedom fighters all fought for the freedom of India. Alongside with them, though, was this great energy. And this energy was none other than the great yogi, His Holiness Sadguru Sadafaldev Ji Maharaj, also known as Vijnananand during that time. Maharishi Sadguru Sadafaldev Ji Maharaj was born in the year 1888 in a renowned yogi family, in the lineage of Maharishi Shringi. At the early age of 11, Sadafal went to Kashi to learn Sanskrit. But the scholars of Sanskrit in Kashi, who were Brahmins by caste, didn't agree to impart him the knowledge of Sanskrit. This is because he hailed from a Kshatriya family. The eternal master of God from the Vedas became his spiritual master, and after teaching him the entire science of Brahma Vidya, God realization, he gave him authority to free the souls as a studied spiritual master would. But during his meditation or study, he was continuously getting indications that he should be a part of the freedom of India. And he couldn't understand. How can he give salvation to the souls who are staying in a country that hasn't got independence? This furiousness drove him to give a speech against the British government's rule to the Indian soldiers working for them. He went straight to the Danapur military base.
Hey Bharat ke veer jawano, Angrez sarkar ki naukri chodo, Bharat maa ke liye lado, Bharat Mata ki jai, Bharat Mata ki jai, Bharat Mata ki jai.
Around the year 1920 AD, there was not much political consciousness amongst the Indian masses as to their civil and political rights and privileges. No one dared raise his or her voice against the tyranny of the British Empire. The tyrannical British imperial rule had Swamiji arrested under Section 131 IPC for attempting to cause rebellion amongst the forces. The case in a nutshell was that Swamiji had instigated the troops through his speeches to rise in rebellion against the British Empire. The case assumed much importance and publicity that everyone in the country came to know of it. The case assumed so much importance and publicity that everyone in the country came to know about it because it was the first case of its kind in the history of the struggle for India's independence. Swamiji's arrest caused widespread concern all over the country. What to talk of Danapur and other places in Bihar? The whole country was agog with reports that Swamiji had taken the lead in liberating the motherland from the yoke of the foreign imperialism. The newspapers would carry full-page reports on his arrest and his messages to freedom fighters under the caption, "The Case of Vijnananand." Some of Swamiji's disciples had discussed his case with Pandit Motilal Nehru and Deshbandhu Chittarajan Das at Ara when they had visited Ara in connection with the state case. These leaders told their disciples that the case assumed great publicity in London. Motilal ji had said that it was only recently that he had returned from London. The case, Swamiji's case, had won glory to India. The British minister had informed the House of Commons that His Majesty's government had asked for a full report from Mr. Montagu, the minister in charge of Indian affairs, on the Danapur troops' rebellion case. Pandit Motilal Nehru told Swamiji's disciples not to worry on his account. He and others on the National Front of the Congress organization would soon be going to jails to press the demand for an earlier independence to the country. He wanted them to convey his regards to Swamiji. Finally, the judge who was influenced by the British government sentenced Swamiji to 2 years of rigorous imprisonment under the section 131 IPC treason on December 22nd, 1920 AD till 12th October 1922. On 10th March 1922, Gandhiji was also arrested, but for only 1 year, and was released on 4th of Feb 1923. Swamiji was the first person to start the non-cooperation in freedom fighters against the British in jail, and this was even before Gandhiji. The cell where Swamiji was kept was known as Krishna Kotari. This was a place where Swamiji made a list for the world's complete encyclopedia of spirituality, Swarveda. Swamiji taught good habits to all the prisoners in jail and made many disciples. One of them, Sri Satyanand, who joined Viplav Party, was executed by the British.
Bharat Mata ki Jai.
Just as Chanakya kept a shika to finish Nanda dynasty, Swamiji too kept a shika to finish the British Empire, which is currently kept in Vritikut Ashram in Balia. He wrote a very beautiful prayer for freedom of India, and this was written in jail.
This is a day of mourning, my Lord. I pray unto thee for justice.
शोक का दिन आज मेरा न्याय भगवान कीजिए.
Thou art the arbiter of the world. Give unto me what is due to me.
विश्व का तू न्याय करता, ईश यह वर दीजिए.
Grant freedom to India and give me the position that thou had ordained to me. I shall have nothing short of that.
स्वाधीन भारत कीजिए, पद दीजिए अब न टरूं.
Unto whom shall I cry? Who shall listen to me? O Lord, on whose feet shall I fall?
रोहूं मैं किसको सुनूं, प्रभु शरण किसके मैं परूं.
There is prohibition here on propagation and preaching. There is restriction on my tongue.
प्रचार में प्रभाव में प्रभु रोकवानी है यहाँ.
Thou know, my Lord, that there is no remedy for miseries without a free flow of thought.
स्वच्छंदवानी धार बिनु प्रभु अज्ञता दुख दूर कहा.
There is variation in every walk of life in India, in the morals and its ethics.
नीति नियम विरुद्ध सारे काम भारत हो रहा.
How shall I then deliver unto its men the message that thou desire of me?
किस भांति तव आदेश जीवन को सुनाऊं प्रभु महा.
There is cow slaughter, drinking of alcohol, and other vices, and the spark of religion is waned.
गोवध मद्यप पाप सारे धर्म भक्ति क्षीण गई.
The unclean have flooded the land, and the God-fearers have been relegated to non-entities.
म्लेच्छ नीच समाज बाड़े भक्त सज्जन हीन भई.
Purge them of their vices, my Lord, or drive them out of the globe.
इन दुर्जनों को शुद्ध कीजे, वा निकालो या मही.
Take India unto thy fold, thou Lord of compassion. I entreat you to give us this divine grace.
प्रभु दीन भारत लो शरण में विनय दुख जन की यही.
If thou had ordained that the glory of India was to be mortgaged to the aliens,
then why did you send me unto this land of perennial flow of milk?
विदेशियों का देन था ऐश्वर्य भारत का तुझे, तब कामधेनु मातृभूमि जन्म क्यों मिला मुझे?
If it is my land given unto me, and make India a piece of paradise on earth,
यदि है हमारा तो मुझे फिर स्वर्ग भारत कीजिए.
listen to me, Lord, this prayer of Sadafal, and take me unto thy fold.
विनती सदा फल की सुनो, भगवन शरण जन लीजिए, भगवन शरण जन लीजिए.
After coming out of jail, in one of his scriptures, Sankat Mochan, Swamiji wrote, ब्रिटिश राज्य अब देव उठाई, असुर नीति अब सहा न जाई, कूटनीति अन्याय स्वरूपा, अत्याचार रक्त ले भूपा, कर स्वतंत्र भारत दुख जाई, हो स्वराज्य माही स्वर्ग बनाई, हो स्वराज्य माही स्वर्ग बनाई.
Due to the pledge of His Holiness Sadguru Sadafaldev Ji Maharaj and sacrifices of millions, finally, Bharat got its freedom on 15th August 1947. But while leaving, British government purposely divided one India into India and Pakistan, so that there will be no peace and harmony between both nations. But Swamiji gave a slogan of Akhanda Bharat, after whom all organizations followed the same. Sadhguruji also has claimed that one day India and Pakistan will merge together with love and friendship. This is a pledge of a yogi and will surely be completed one day. The present master is born on the 28th July 1947, as prophesied by Swamiji.
India will be free at the birth of my grandson. He will be named Swatantra Dev, God of freedom.
And is the head of Vyangam Yoga organization, spreading divine knowledge of God realization and reminding the world freedom does not come free, but by sacrifices of millions, and most importantly, the sacrifice done by Sadafaldev Ji Maharaj.